Alright, you guys, this is the movie I'm making, the first movie of my series to do. And this movie is mostly about Morganite. So, I'm gonna go ahead and do this for Rebecca Sugar, since they had never used her actually in Steven Universe. Alright, so, the movie starts off with, a new gem that is introducing Pink Emerald, and her friend is, of course, Morganite. Pink Emerald was like saying, "Oh my god, Morganite, I can't believe we're going to little homeschool. It's gonna be exciting." And then Morganite would say, "Yes, and I hope that you have a good day on working and not failing class." And then Pink Emerald would reply to her, "Same as you. Good luck." Or "Same as you. Good luck." That's her voice. And then when they had this was after they had went to the warpad, like when they were leaving their planet and they were going to Earth, and they were separate, and then they would go to see the teachers. Let's see. She would come and see, hold on. Pink Emerald, yes, Pink Emerald, would go to see Lapis, and she would ask Lapis if she would like to be one of her students, and Lapis agreed she would say yes. And because she asked of what she was educated in, and I mean, no, it's because Pink Emerald is like into art. And no, I'm sorry. It's the other way around. It's Morganite. Since Morganite, I'll get to why later. Morganite is like into art. She is like, yeah, her powers are brainwashing. So she likes to wash, like making wash paintings, and that's what she's interested in. And she would tell she did not brainwash Lapis yet, but she would come to her and and Lapis would say, "Oh, hello there. What is your name?" And she said, "Morganite, Lapis." And then Lapis was saying, "Oh, I guess you, of course, know me for a lot, don't you?" And then Morganite said, "Definitely, yeah. Yes, definitely." And that's how she would say it. And then Lapis would have a conversation with her, and Lapis would say, "So tell me, Morganite, what type of art are you interested in?" "Let's see, my powers are brainwashing," said Morganite, "and I would like to do paintings that represent. I would like to make wash paintings, like with your water, and resembles it resembles me, and it resembles my life." I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, that's how she would. Normally someone would, oh yeah, it's mostly like the meaning of her life, yeah. Lapis would, after she would say that what she would be interested in, Lapis then said, "Okay, well, good. We'll start on with it." And then, let's see. Morganite had some difficulties about painting since this is her first time, The reason why she learned about paint was she had learned the history about Lapis, and Lapis then helped her with a song. While that was happening, Peridot was singing a song with Pink Emerald. Now, Pink Emerald is a mechanic like Peridot, like I showed you in the other video. She would want to help with the mechanics, and but not only help by mechanics, but also she would water plants. She needs help with watering plants, and well, actually, what would make more sense is that Morganite would splash water, and it would show a watering can, cut to the scene of watering can of Pink Emerald watering the plants, and Emerald singing for her, and like singing like they all were singing. Morganite and Pink Emerald were singing with it as well as the help of teamwork of this, and after the song was over, um, Morganite was then had finished the picture. Lapis was then saying that, "Oh wow, Morganite, that looks amazing." And Morganite said, well, "Thank you." And then Morganite, and no, that then Lapis saying, "Oh, class time is over. Would you like to take a break? Kids are allowed to take lunch. Humans have lunch, and gems just go and sit with each other." Is what Lapis would say. Morganite said yes, and she would take a break. And then Pink Emerald then walked to her, and they were talking. Morganite was saying, "Oh." Morganite was saying, "Oh, well, hello. So how was it?" And then Pink Emerald said that it was amazing. It was fun. We began to water plants, and they began to grow plants, and oh yes, they began to grow plants, and during the song, and and then Pink Emerald's like, "My next subject in class is working with metal, and see if bismuth would build weapons for me instead of making weapons for myself." And Morganite saying that, "Wow, what a good idea to be signed up with that." Or she would say, "Wow, what a good idea to be assigned for that subject." And Pink Emerald would say, "So Morganite, what is your next subject?" And then Pink Emerald saying that, I don't really know what I'm assigned with. And let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna pause this video and see what I can come up with. What can be her subject. Okay, I got an idea. So then the next scene shows Connie teaching her of how to fight, and Connie is saying that she walked up to the steps or walked to her room since Connie is a new teacher. She would meditate, and she has a mind, like she's taught by Garnet, and she do meditation, and she knew that Morganite was behind her, so like, "Stop," said Connie. She got up and Morganite said, "How do you know I was here?" "Oh." And then Connie was saying that, talking about the mind thing that she learned from Garnet, a few years back. Years ago, she would learn about that from Garnet, is what she had said to her. Morganite said, so I was signed up for this class. What do you do here?" And then Connie was then saying that, "Oh, I train to fight." And then Morganite would say that, I don't know about really fighting because I only know how to brainwash people. And Connie would be like, well, that's a good idea. I can be your opponent. I can be your attack. I can be the attack. And you can be the strategy. And Morganite was saying, strategy? How could I be your strategy? And kind of be like, you'll see later, because I know what's gonna happen, and I know what's gonna happen when I teach you. All right. Well, she said something like that. It's not know what's gonna happen like twice. It's something like that. So then they start playing, and then Connie was in singing a song with her, and Connie would then actually no. Before the song was playing, she would try to use her weapon and try to attack. She tries to charge at her, but then she uses her brainwash to make her stop doing it. And while she and then she unbrainwashed her, I believe. Or maybe for in the brainwash, or maybe Connie was able to get out from the brainwash, because I think that normally when you see brainwash, they don't snap at you back. They don't. I mean, they don't make you. They don't make you unbrainwashed. I believe. I don't know. I don't know how she does it. She might have unbrainwashed her, and Connie be like, "Oh wow, that was amazing. I didn't feel anything. See, that's what I was talking about. See, you're doing very good." And so while that was working, they begin to fight while Connie and Morganite were singing a song together. And they begin to fight. As they were fighting, then, well, after the song was over, they begin to resume fighting. Well, they begin to take a break, and then as they were not for a break for because the class is over, but a break for another fight, and then. Let's see. Let's. Oh yeah, I actually have a good idea. Connie then poofs her with her sword, but when she goes behind her, but she was incontrollable. Like she. Actually, no. That Connie would never do that. This is class. Like she would not. She would only poof gems during the fight. She would not do that to her own students, so no. So, anyways, they were taking a break, and then so that way they would later continue fighting. But meanwhile, while they were taking a break, we would get to Pink Emerald, who was being taught by Bismuth. And Bismuth was saying that. So you were doing. And while she was using her hammer, and while she was using her, I think she has a pickaxe as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She could make any of the weapons of her arms. I just realized that because, and of course, I've seen that before. I just remember that, even after when I was making that whole series of that first season I did. But she would make the weapons for her and be like, "And there, here we go." And that's what Connie. Said Bismuth. And then she gave the pickaxe to Pink Emerald. Yeah, that's her name. Why would she use a pickaxe? I think that you can use a pickaxe during building. I don't know. Let me go check. Nah, it's just used as a shovel. I thought it was just used for other things. I've known it was used for a shovel, of course, for many years. But anyway, she must have just used her hammer then. She gave the pickaxe to her, and Pink Emerald saying that, well, yeah, I'm more of a mechanic. I'm not really a digger. So then, Bismuth would then would then build had a good idea. Um, she made a big, no, not, actually, no, she already has, like, a big, wrench, the pink wrench, but, uh, there's another wrench that Bismuth has, where I don't know, it's like, it looks like a puppet, but it's like a wrench. She made it for her. It's like another special wrench. And Bismuth was then saying, "How about this one?" And then like Morgan would say, "Oh yes, thank you. This would be so good. I could screw this. I could. How would I say this? I can turn this with my own wrench at the same time," said Pink Emerald. And then Bismuth, and then she was saying to Bismuth that, "So, can you teach me any other weapons that what we can use?" And then I know this might be a median for another song, but I would just do it anyway. That Bismuth would help her by singing a song with her, and Pink Emerald would sing with her, and they would work on with making other weapons. And when the song was over, Pink Emerald saying that, "Oh my god, this is so amazing. I can't wait to use all these tools later." What she would. Well, that's what Pink Emerald would say. And then Bismuth would say, "Well, good luck with them. You're gonna need them." Or she'd be like, "Well, you see, these weapons would all help you. And you don't have to make your own weapons with them," said Bismuth. So then class time was over. And so then the two had met again, Pink Emerald and Morganite. Morganite was saying to Pink Emerald that or Pink Emerald saying to Morganite that, "Morganite, you're not gonna believe this that I had made. Look at all these tools that I have." And Morganite would say, "Oh, that's very good. Guess what? I've been finding with Connie, the fiance of Steven Universe." And then Pink Emerald would say, "No way. Have you been trained in fighting?" "Yes. And while she was trying to fight me with her sword, she didn't attack me at all. Because of course that she's a teacher, she wouldn't attack me. But I was her strategist. And I would brainwash her." Oh yeah, but Connie would say that you can be my strategist. Like that's what she would say. And I don't know if Morganite would say that she would never attack her because of, I don't know, that's how characters would say it in shows, but they could say it off camera. But anyway, what was I about to say? So then, Pink Emerald was saying that, "So, now that school's over, don't you wanna have fun and do something or have a conversation with?" And Morganite be like, let's see. Then what happened? There was trouble happening out of town, and there were a pack of angelites coming down, and they're apparently rogues. They're rogues, and they have betrayed the gems that had no longer been under control, and they would want to attack over the city. And they would use bow and arrows. They're archers. They're angel archers, and they would fly up and they would shoot out arrows to everyone, and everyone would duck in, and And then the crystal gems would show up, and Garden would be like, guys, take cover. Guys, take cover. That doesn't. I don't think that sounded British. I think that sounded in New Yorker accent. I don't know, but they would. They then dug, and everyone to keep them safety. Garnet would then call the gems. Bring them under safe. Bring them under safety. We'll take. Pearl. She would say that to Amethyst to bring them safety. Pearl. Or no, she would say that to the other crystal gems. Pearl, Amethyst, you know what to do. And then they would nod their head, and they were beginning to attack. Pearl would then use her spear to to block the arrows. Amethyst would whip the arrows in half, and Garnet would just go and try to punch them in the ground. And then however, as they were trying to beat, they were too fast. They were too fast, and they kept dodging. And they kept shooting out arrows. Oh yeah, and Morganite and Pink Emerald said they need help, and then Garnet said, guys, stay out of it. And then Morganite be like, no, if you need help, we can do this. You have us. And then Garnet would be like, I'm not sure about that. And then Steven would show up and be like, it's okay. It's okay. Let them do it. And then Steven showed up with a good appearance of him, first appearance of him showing up. And they were surprised to be like, and then the two new gems were, Big Emerald and Morganite were surprised to be like, Big Emerald said, Steven Universe! And Steven Universe be like, and then they would fight, and then they would start, Steven be like, so what's your main, go ahead and try to use your powers, and see if you can try and take them out. And then she used her brainwash. They didn't get ready to use their powers. The two gems ready to use their powers. Morganite then used her brainwash on the Angelites. And then, Pink Emerald, would then use her weapons, her wrench weapon to wipe them out, and even her other weapons, well, as a strategist, she began to brainwash them. It was a successing moment. As they were knocked out but not poof, they were then resting. Then, as one more Angelite was standing up, she then tries to shoot. But then the cannon was firing. And, like, a cannonball, like, she was shot out to the mountain, and she died. And other of the Angelites were then killed. They were like, no, please, no, no! And then they were all shot down while they were on the floor, just being knocked down. Like, they were then killed after being knocked down, like, by Morganite and Pink Emerald, of course, like, it's a bazooka. It's actually a bazooka cannon. They were all killed by bazooka. And the gem with the bazooka is red kyanite. They then, they stood there, and the gems and the crystal gems and the two new gems were horrified about this. They then had an idea that Pink Emerald would be like, Steven, don't worry. You know what to do. As long as we're together, we were able to take this gem out. And Steven would be like, okay. Right, because we are the crystal gems. Nothing will stop us. But then the gem was strong. With the cannons, they began to dodge. Oh yeah, and even Lapis, Bismuth, and Peridot were also there as well. Lapis would begin to try to distract Kyanite with her water, and oh yeah, earlier Lapis would slam dunk the Angelites to the ground before they would be killed, before they got killed by Red Kyanite. I don't know why I said would, but they were killed by Red Kyanite, of course. But anyway, back to what I was saying about Kyanite. I'm not saying that I'm actually doing that scene with Angelites being slam dunked. I'm being slam dunked. It already happened. I was just saying what happened earlier. But anyway, about Kyanite, that they're being attacked. She got distracted by water. It's a she. No, none of the Jebs are he except for Steven, of course. But then Bismuth would just try to dodge it, but the bazooka apparently melted her hand, and then she was in fear, but she didn't. Peridot was again to try to fight with her metal, but they melted, and and all the other let's see what Morganite. No, Pink Emerald then tried to use her metal weapons, but they melted as well. And Garnethus and Pearl had no idea what to do. Well, Pearl tried to use her weapons, but it melted. And then Garnet would try to use her Gauntlet, but it melted. And Amethyst would use her whip, but it also melted because of all that bazooka. And even Steven would just block it. Actually, no. Steven still had an idea of fighting, and Morganites had an idea of being the strategist, of trying to brainwash her, and that way Steven, as she was trying to shoot out before brainwashing her, she brainwashed after she was firing, and Steven, well, actually, yeah, so that way she would not quickly use her fight moves. Like, she's fast, even when she's a big, slow gem, but Steven would then use his shield, because the bazooka is not that strong. Bounced at her, and then she died. All the gems and other people in this beach city were cheering for the crystal gems and for the new gems as an award. Steven saying that, oh yeah, Connie would have also been there, and then the sword would be melted, but Bismuth had then, Steven would say that, Connie would say, my sword! She lost another sword, and said something like that, before that Kaidai had died, Steven then said to the two new gems, Morganite and Pink Emerald, that as an award, you guys will be graduated for this, and have a lot of education, and earn a lot of education, and and make your grades higher. And you guys earn 100 for this, something like that was what Steven would say. Then the two gems were so excited they hugged each other out. They then hugged, and then they were working things out as the year had went on, and kept on doing it. They then graduated, finally, at last. Oh yeah, while that was happening, Bismuth had fixed, Connie, gave her a new sword. She gave her a new sword, be like, oh, looks so good. Thanks, Bismuth. Thanks, Bismuth. I can't really make Connie's voice as a male. The female voice would sound fake. Obviously. But anyway. They graduated. And then the two, gems had, began talking. And while that was happening, let's see. I'm trying to think of another idea. Yeah, later that night, they would lay down. The two friends, Pink Emerald and Morganite, were then talking. Morganite was saying that, or Pink Emerald saying that, wow, look at the stars. And then Morganite said, yeah, I heard about these constellations. Don't they? And then Morganite was telling, and Pink Emerald was saying that they would tell stories about them, and she would say that that's Big Dipper, the Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, and let's see. They must have learned that stuff from other subjects of Latin. I guess that, yes, Pink Emerald had, Morganite saying that, where'd you learn that? And then Pink Emerald said, oh, I learned that from a subject of learning a Latin class. As the second semester was going on, she was never told by Morganite. She was never told by Pink Emerald about this until after the end of the school year for some reason. But I'm not saying that's a mean thing. I'm not saying I'm picking on Morganite for not knowing about that, or I'm not saying I'm mean about that about Pink Emerald. I'm just saying that. But Morganite be like, wow, that's very good. And Pink Emerald said, I heard that Latin is a language, and I learned how to speak it. Morganite then saying that, oh wait, what is that? And then Pink Emerald was being educated with this, and she was saying that like she was then giving her examples of speaking Latin and. Well, like Hindi is another. Oh, actually, a lot of languages that there's a lot of languages out there. Like I don't know if India has more languages that, as yes, as I know by as someone else that by a lot of languages, but I'll discuss about that another time. But as that Morganite was just feeling down, she felt jealous and like she feels sad. And Pink Emerald was giving an example of about giving her like languages and speaking Hindi. Like, oh yeah, she would learn Hindi or maybe not. Actually, it would make more sense if she would just only learn Latin, since that's just about constellations. I'm learning that stuff I got that from Kung Panda. That it's kind of a reference from a Dragonite. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. Morganite was feeling down, and Pink Emerald was then saying that, "What's wrong?" And then she's saying, "What's the matter?" Or some, oh no, Pink Emerald will just say, "What's wrong?" And Morganite said, I'm just jealous that you are learning more things than me. You got more weapons than me. You got more power. You got more some things than me. You're learning more educations than me, especially that language that you just did. And then Pink Emerald just felt bad for her. She felt down, like she's saying that, "I'll cheer up. Don't worry, and things will be better." Like, cause remember we're out of school, and even when we're out of school, it is not too late. And I know what you're thinking. It's not too late. It's never too late. I'm not doing that. It's not a song that they would sing. Obviously, of course, I would not do that because, of course, that why would you? Well, yes, they would do a parody or reference of another song, like a fan. I don't mean to say fan base. I don't know. It doesn't have to be fan made because it can be canon when they want to. Like, cause it was the first episode. It was like the only episode of Luster Dawn, and they would like it's. Oh yeah, how ironic! It's about Steven Universe that they were doing it based on Drift Away was a reference, and they were it's not like a reference to that, like it's like Drift Away, like Luster Dawn and Twilight, the older Twilight, the big Twilight. Princess Twilight is what I meant. The size of Celestia, obviously, that they would sing it and based on the Drift Away song. I don't know if it's Drift Away, but I don't know if that's what the song is called. But that's what Steven and Spinell was saying. Or no, Spinell was the only one to sing about that. Or maybe it was. Maybe it was other No, I'm not saying it was. It was a reference to that song, but there might have been other reference songs of what they were singing in that episode. Um, no, oh no, I'm sorry. I had to. Before I get back to moving the examples, that it was actually the lullaby that it was based on. It was Drift Away. That's when her mother what was her name? What was her name? Starlight Glimmer is what her name was. Is what her name is. She would sing her a lullaby, and that was a reference to the Drift Away song. I'm guessing I don't know if it was just from Steven Universe, but the other songs that they were doing might have been references to other shows and from Steven Universe, the other songs they were doing. In that, I'm not saying. Sorry if I was saying parody. It's sorry if I'm saying parody. If I was saying parody mistakenly, but it was it's like but it could still it's still canon because the show of friendship is magic is over. Like yeah, it's canon. It's a canon episode where they do those reference songs. But back to this, it's not a reference song, but she would cheer Pink Emerald would cheer up Morganite with a song she had in mind that things will be alright, and Morganite's yeah, Morganite would sing with her as well, and how they would work together. Like it's like Elsa and Anna working together about this, and or actually no, like a friendship, like a team of friendship. Like speaking of My Little Pony, this is a good idea. This is definitely a good idea. Like they would with the power of friendship, with a team of friendship, that they would do like. Even though they're not educated well, they could still have friendship and work hard, and even in battles, since they're not yet crystal gems and possibly never will be, but you'll find out later if like what will happen if they will be crystal gems or not. All right, you'll find out later in this video. So then, the next scene shows that Morganite is then walking. Uh, um, she then feels like she then tries to go to the next thing in her life, while Pink Emerald is doing the next thing of her life, trying to find it, but it just happened. They just graduated, so it takes a long time. Like me, it will take a long time for me to possibly find a job. But it's what I'm saying is that it's gonna have a long time, possibly finding a job. But then Morganite then goes to Peridot and be like, "Hey, Peridot," and be like, "Oh, hey, Morganite. Um, what are you doing here? You just graduated." And then Morganite be like, "I just want to talk to you since is it okay that you and I can be friends and you and I can talk about a conversation? And you and I can talk about a conversation?" And Peridot be like, "Yes, sure." And then they were walking together, and then actually no. Um, actually, let's see. Uh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, yes, they would have a conversation, I think. But while that was happening, no, actually, no, sorry. I kind of want to. This actually makes more sense. One of Peridot's new students is Rhodonite, and this, yes, as you of course know about Rhodonite, that her backstory is, she was brainwashed 17 times because the pink pearl and the ruby were always falling in love with each other. After the 17th time of being brainwashed, as you guys of course know, that they then escaped, and she escaped from the brainwash, and then she had to replace them. Now I know that what you're saying, thinking that earlier that Connie got away from the brainwash, or maybe there was something different that they were escaping. I don't know if this is exact, or maybe of course that you would snap out of the, or maybe it's obvious that they had snapped out of it to get away with the brainwash. Like they snapped out, like they obviously snapped out of it to escape the brainwash, is what I meant. Or they snapped out of it to escape a Morganite, like something that means the same thing. Which made Morganite replace them, and replace them with a different pearl and a different ruby. Well, getting back to it, Rhodonite be like, "Stop," said Rhodonite, and be like, she said, "You," and then Morganite said, do I know you?" And then and the Rhodonite said, "You don't remember me? You don't remember me? When you had brainwashed me 17 times and replaced this ruby and pearl because of we escaped after we had fallen in love with each other?" Like she said something like that. And then Morganite said, "It's you." Or I mean, like, "Now I remember. You're that Rhodonite that you..." Actually, no. No, she would not. It would make more sense that she would bring up that Morganite would bring up they would have a relationship. She would then say, "It's you." Or no. What? She'd say, "Wait a minute. Oh, now I remember." Or no. "Wait a minute. You're that ruby and pink pearl. You're that ruby and that pearl that fall in love with each other. And that's why I had to brainwash you to gems multiple times." And then Rhodonite was then saying that, "Yes. Do you have anything to say about that?" Morganite would then say that, "Okay, I understand what I did, but I changed now, okay? I'm really sorry about that. I'm not like that gem anymore. That gem is gone and over with. For good. You wanna shake hands?" And then Rhodonite would shake hands as well that she had accepted her apology. And apparently I'll be like, "Alright, you guys, I'll just stay here. I'll be right back having a class is over, or class dismissed." Like, okay, yeah. Time is up, class dismissed. Alright, come on. Let's have a conversation. Then they had a room to talk about, and Peridot be like, "Alright, so what is this you're wanting to do?" Like, Morganite was saying, "Peridot, I think it's time for me to tell you why I am here. Like, why I am actually here with my friend." And Umbrella would be like, "Okay, alright, you could go ahead and tell me." Or no. Peridot would be like, no, Peridot would be like, I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, before she would talk about the backstory, she'd be like, "Peridot, do you know your friend, like, Lapis Lazuli and Connie?" And Peridot would be like, no. What about them? I mean, do you know anything wrong? Do you know anything new about Lapis and Connie?" Is what she said, and Peridot said, no. Or she'd be like, no. What about them? And Morganite was saying that Lapis Lazuli was just a terraforming jerk. She became friends with you. She destroyed your tape recorder. And she had destroyed the stuff of what you guys had in the barn. And as I've learned that Lapis had left to leave, and I did not like this relationship that you and Lapis had, as she was leaving to avoid another war. As she was leaving to avoid another war, I was happy about that when I read about that stuff about her, and then she came back to help you guys. And I didn't think that she was fit enough to be a crystal gem. Peridot was saying, okay, yes, I know that, but see, she was acting like that because that's because that I that's because I was doing wrong things to her. I was bad to her. She technically actually had the rights to break my tape recorder, but I gave that tape recorder to her anyway. I wasn't really mad at her. And also that she destroyed our stuff from the barn because that Lapis was actually helping us with that good weapon to take out Blue Diamond. When Blue Diamond used to be a villain. When Blue Diamond used to be a villain. Sorry, I'm trying to do the good Parrot voice. And then Morganite would be like, and then Morganite would be like, no, I disagree with all that. I understand she was helping out. I understand what you did to her. But you were a villain. That's what you were doing. That's what you were supposed to do back then. That's what I was supposed to do back then. I used to be a villain as well. And in breath that said, I know that, but tell me also about Connie. I know that, but tell me also about Connie is what you're talking about. Connie was a bit of a jerk. She was a jerk to you, and even though that I do not like Lapis, I felt bad for her. She yelled at you guys. After you guys had an argument, and after Connie didn't care. She was saying that you guys, even though that Lapis had then stated that you guys were both thousands of years older than her, even me, of course, that I'm thousands of years older than her. She then said that you guys need to act like, she then said, then act like you're a thousand years older. Like, something like, I don't know, something like that. That was what Morganite would say. Something like that, what Connie had said. But that's what Connie had said. Or maybe Connie would say, well, then act like you're thousands of years. Like, yeah, I don't have to go and look at it. It's the same thing, okay? I don't have to look and tell you about that. It's just something like that. And then Peridot said, yeah, okay, yes, but let me tell you something, Morganite. She actually had the right to do that since we were arguing. And she actually had done well, and even when Lab was saying that it's not a very great Stephen way, Connie did make a great Stephen way, and Lapis did agree with that. She did say that, and then Connie then was actually proving her point, and she had a good point over us working out together, and we're doing this for Stephen. And then Morgan said, oh yes, all because of Stephen. Yes, of course, but forget about Stephen, okay? Oh, his days are coming, and oh boy, I'm trying to protect you from this, Peridot. I want to get rid of Lapis once and for all. I don't think she as well as a crystal gem. And I will be here to get rid of Connie. No, this would make sense that Morganite was then after something other things, what Morganite was saying, she then was telling her a flashback. She then was telling her a flashback that's the reason why that she had learned about these things about them. She learned about these things about Lapis and Connie, and she became she was friends with Pink Emerald. So, she decided to go to school just to have revenge. And just so she can have revenge. And avenge herself over her being upset that the way that they're acting. And having revenge over these two these two characters. And that's and she had no choice but to learn new things in class. Well, no, that's because she liked to learn things in the class. She had to wait until the school year was over. She said to Peridot that she had to wait for the school year to be over, that way she could have revenge on those two people. And then, after the flashback was over, and then saying that, let me tell you something, Claude, Morgan, or let me tell you something, Morgan, Claude, that I love Lapis, and I love Connie as a friend. Lapis and Connie were later being nice, and they learned, and they grew on them, and they grew on each other, and they grew on each other to friends that were later her. No, what she meant was to other gems that were later their friends, and they later began helping out, and they were no longer acting like that they had used to. And then Stephen Peridot was just defending herself, and Morganite be like, but Morganite, Morganite had an idea. She'd be like, no, Peridot, you will do as I say. And then she brainwashed Peridot, and she will try, and then she went to Lapis, and while that was happening, Peridot went to Lapis, and it'd be like that. And Lapis be like, when class was over, or during the break, Lapis was saying to Peridot, looking and Peridot coming in, she said, Peridot. Hey, Peridot. What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to take a break and... No, this is during summer break, never mind. Actually, no. This was after the summer break. She's like, what are you doing here? Aren't you going to talk to me during lunch? Don't you want to talk to me during lunch? Peridot said, Lapis, there's something I need to tell you. There's something I would want to tell you during the lunch break. Like, something like that, what Peridot would say. As far as I'm concerned, our relationship has come to an end. Lapis saying that, what? Peridot, you must be joking. No, I'm not joking. It's just that I hate you. You were such a jerk. You've been a jerk to Steven and everyone else. Morganite was right about you. You had destroyed my stuff and broke Steven's dad's leg and other things of what you did to almost drown people. It has forced me to have the Crystal Gems kick you out of the Crystal Gem team once and for all. I swear to you that all this is done for the best. And then while Lapis was in a breakdown, she was then in a breakdown crying. And then as she was crying, she was no longer crying. She got up. She then realized that, wait a minute. I think this has something to do with Morganite brainwashing Peridot. She betrayed me. Morganite had betrayed me. Now I know why she had came to Earth. Now I know why she had come to Earth. She then got up and then walked. She then go ahead and walk to Morganite. And while Morganite was sitting down, Lapis then was walking to Morganite. Morganite was looking, and she was surprised at Lapis Lapis making her edgy face. Lapis then said, "What did I do to upset you? That a former student of mine should turn against me like this?" And then Morganite said, "You've destroyed Peridot's stuff and done everything else wrong." And then Lapis said that, "Well, that's because Peridot used to be a villain." And then yes, the same thing what Lapis was explaining, that Peridot was a villain, and she had the rights to destroy the barn on Blue Diamond. And then Morganite saying that still makes you a jerk, said Morganite. And then Lapis then got angry and walked to Morganite, and she pointed out her finger, she pointed out her index finger along with her water hand index finger, like water wing hand index finger, and she was telling her that, "Let me tell you this. Did you think I became a crystal gem for no good reason? Well, you are wrong." And then Lapis had, I don't know if it makes sense if she said, "Did you think," or "Do you think," because Morganite still thinks about her not being a rightful crystal gem. And then after she was saying, "Well, you are wrong. Did you think, or do you think that I had became friends with with Peridot and everyone else, including Steven, for no good reason? Well, you are wrong as well." And then she was saying that, do you think that I will ever be kicked out of the Crystal Gem team just for your revenge, something like that. And she's saying that, "Well, I shall not." Or Peridot was saying that, "Well, that will," or Lapis would say, no, I mean, why am I saying Peridot if I said Peridot by accident? Lapis said, "Well, that will never happen. Not for all eternity. Not when you rack me during the inch of my life. Or not when you rack me for the inch of my life. I'm doing, that's, it's something like that, which I'll get to why I'm saying, I'm doing that thing for, like, that reference, from movies, of, which I'll get to that in another video, that I'll tell you the reference that I'm trying to make, that I'm trying to make Lapis say that what they have exactly said. Even when I don't exactly say it, even when I don't exactly say some of the parts of what they had said, then Lapis had still said it without me saying it. And even the other characters had said some of the thing, even when I say the quotes of the characters that, some of the quotes that I did not exactly say, that of what the characters I was saying that I'm making references of, even real life people, then they're still saying it without me doing it. After she was saying with the inch of my life, like what Lapis was saying, Lapis then saying, "I am Lapis Lazuli, the crystal gem, Peridot's one true friend, and even others as well. Beloved of the people, and beloved of my friends. You have been told." And then she walks away. She then walks away without Morganite saying anything. And then Connie would come in and be like, "So I heard that. So after all the times I have taught you how to fight, you've betrayed me. Just like what you did to Lapis. I've seen her walking out now. Your day will come. You know that, right?" "I guess I knew about your brainwashing. I guess I made a mistake over your brainwashing powers, and I made a mistake over or having you with me in class. I could have had you switch earlier that first semester. Then she walks away from Morganites, and yes, of course, that Connie had figured out that Morganite had brainwashed Peridot. um, Pink Emerald was then saying that, was hearing news that, Peridot, what is going on? Why are you being so rude to your friends? Well, she's not mad at Peridot asking that question. She's just worried, and Peridot then snapped out of it. And no, Pink Emerald will be like, oh no, it's Morganite. Morganite must have done this to her. And then she was shaking Peridot, or snapping her like, Peridot, snap out of it. And then said Pink Emerald, and then Peridot snapped out of it, and we are like, what happened? Oh, you automatically made a big mistake, but it was not your fault. And, and then she walked to Lapis and Peridot, be like, Lapis and Connie then showed up, and then Peridot was like, Connie and Lapis were so happy when Peridot is, unbrainwashed, and and then Peridot be like, I guess it really wasn't. And then Connie be like, after Connie was telling her about this stuff, and then Peridot saying that, I guess you're right, Connie. It was a very big mistake to invite her here. We gotta tell this, no. Yeah. Peridot would then say, we gotta tell Steven about this, or else that we're all doomed. They then were bringing this up to Steven. Steven has got, and after they had brought that stuff up, Steven be like, be like, guys, no, she'd be like, guys, it's just her opinions over stuff, okay? She doesn't mean to do all that stuff. She doesn't mean those things to you guys. But then, oh, actually, that's when Steven was saying that in the middle of a conversation they were talking about, but then the Peridot has brought up to Steven that, that she will get rid of Connie and Lapis, and then Steven be like, oh my god, that is more than an opinion. I better go tell her about this. We better go tell her about this. And then Steven then was going into Morganite, and then Morganite was then saying to Steven that, oh, Steven, what are you doing here, Matt? And then, as she was trying to lie, Steven be like, it's okay, Morganite, I already know. I understand your opinions, but let me tell you this, he was saying that, but you should not try and get rid of Connie, my girlfriend, and Lapis. Or, you should not try to get rid of my girlfriend and my friend. And then Morganite was then mad, Steven saying that, my opinions, it is more than an opinion, Steven. They have done something wrong to you for many years, especially your girlfriend. And then, after Morganite was then explaining to Steven about this, Stephen then argued about that stuff. Then they had an argument song to each other. They then sang a song. And then as that song was over, um, Lapis then, um, Lapis then was talking to an old friend, a not really a long time friend, but for a friend for years, and that like a few years is what I meant, but you could still say it's for years. Is what was Freckles Lapis. Freckles Lapis saying, I guess, um, Lapis after Freckles was then saying that, don't worry, Lapis, you don't have to tell me. I know everything. I've heard the news. And then Lapis be like, my life is so sad. It's like I'm being rejected. After every effort I've done, after all these years I have helped my friends, even when I was scared, even when I used to be scared of wars. Sorry, please excuse the mistakes I'm making, okay? But Lapis does not really make mistakes. You know that. That's just me trying to do the quotes for her. And Lapis be like, are these shards? And then Freckles Lapis saying, yes. Lapis be like, you know what? I wonder what things. And Lapis was very curious. Lapis was, she was actually, it was a bowl of gemstones that, it was actually Freckles Lapis using that as an art. She was her old student. She was Lapis's old student, and she would use them as art. And it was like those broken gemstones that, not from corrupted gems, but from buildings, is what Lapis was then terrified by. Like, oh my god, what are those? Are those from? And then Freckles Lapis saying, oh no, it's okay, Lapis, it's okay. They're just from gem buildings. They're not actually from gems. And Lapis was like, oh, okay. And Lapis was feeling sad, and she was very curious of trying to eat them. Lapis then thought that it would actually help her with her sad emotions. And then she tried to eat more gem shards. I mean, shards from the buildings, and even Freckles Lapis was eating more of them. They both were eating more, and then but let's see. Emerald was then coming to Morganite that, Morganite, do you want to have a conversation? You and I just, no. Morganite be like, no, Pink Emerald say to Morganite, stop, Morganite. You don't have to do this. No. Yes, actually, and Morganite would then say that, I have to, Pink Emerald. Or else that they'll do some other mean things. And then Pink Emerald said, no, they won't. It's not what you think. Morganite was saying, I understand that, but they still have done some wrong things that. And then Pink Emerald would be like, Pink Emerald was then saying that, you gotta stop thinking about that stuff, Morganite. You gotta start thinking happy things about them, because they're not of what you think they are. They can be your friend. They could be your friends. Or no. No, it's actually too late for Pink Emerald to say that. They're actually good gems, and they've been actually helping out with the gems. And without them, who's gonna protect them? Who other gems are gonna protect them other than the main crystal gems? and the other gems that old friends of them, and or rather than the old crystal gem friends of them, like the ones that were proved for a long time is what I meant. Um, Morganite was then she was then saying to her that without Lapis and Connie, we cannot have strong teammates. And then she was then thinking about that, but then while it was happening, Lapis was saying, that makes so much better. Can I have some more? And then Freckles Lapis be like, Lapis, we're all out of shards. And then Lapis be like, oh. But then, suddenly, Lapis had felt something in her stomach and felt what was coming out of her. Freckles Lapis was then saying, are you okay? Or are you okay? And then Lapis was then going, like, throwing up no, not gem shards, but it can be gemstone shards from buildings. Like, she's throwing up shards and coming out, barfing them out of her mouth. And then Freckles was then horrified seeing this. But then, while she was horrified, she then was feeling that stuff in her stomach as well, and then she too was barfing out the shards. And as they were throwing up, this was a thing called gem shard overdose. And Lapis then had died first. She was then shredded to death because the shards had actually came up to her, and then there was no organs in them, of course, that they were then, and they shred. So then, basically, with the organs that not in the way, this had enough space to them, of the gems, shredding their gemstones to death, and shredding themselves to death, they're shredding their gemstones, they're not shattered, they're getting shredded, and then Lapis was, as I said before, Lapis was shredded to death first. She died first, and then Freckles had died second. And as Morganite and Pink Emerald were then talking, they then had news about that. They then had heard the news that that the two Lapis, the Crystal Gem, and another Lapis had died. Morganite was not actually happy. It is shown that she was actually sad and actually felt bad. She felt like, what have I done? She said, what have I done? And then Pink Emerald saying, I'm very sorry. And then Pink Emerald saying, no, you have not done anything, Morganite. It's okay. You and I are still friends, okay? And while there was a funeral that was happening with Steven, and then as they were mourning, yes, they were all shocked, of course. They were all shocked about this. She then apologized to all of them about what she had done, and even to Connie. Or, no. Well, she was then really sorry about this. Then Connie was then coming up to Morganite and be like, as I said before, Morganite, your days will still come. Or, your day will still come, is what she's saying that. As I said before, Morganite, your day will still come. And then Connie walked away from her, even when she felt sorry. And then more danger was happening. That, while they were under attack, they have seen that, actually, should I, actually, before that, this will actually make more sense, that they were having a conversation to each other, that's what they would do, Garnet had actually sensed that a new gem is coming, and they had actually had decided to fight, like see if they would do a war, but they were still grieving over Lapis. They would try to see if they could do this without Lapis Lazuli. As they were trying to work up that, they they began having a song of them team working and try to do this together. Or actually, no, I don't think they would have time to do a song. Or maybe they would. Yes, they would. They would do have a song. They would have time to do a song because it takes a long time of a gem to come here. Like Black Diamond and all the other gems, like the Angelites, Red, Kyanite, all the other gems that the threats that a long time taking here. Even Purple Diamond, and the other diamonds that had a long time to go into other countries, and Purple Diamond going to Beach City. Having a long time trying to find Earth, like, not because they can think about Earth, or no, actually, no, I actually forget that, no, because they can actually think about them going to Earth, and that actually, I forgot about that, they can actually go to the warp pads, and, yeah. But, as after the song was over, then the gem has arrived. The new gem was named Diopside. She's a green gem, and she's like a rebellion. She's like based on like it's like Jinx. Like she's like based on Jinx, who used to be Powder from Arcane. She looks like that. Like I showed this to you guys. She was like she's acting crazy. That she began killing. She then killed Bismuth by gunning them down. They were so sad. They then killed Peridot. And then Morganite been like had sacrificed herself, and then she was killed. And and then Steve and then Morganite and no, not Morganite. Pink Emerald was then open to fight with Crystal Gems, and but nothing has helped them. Then Steven then tries to kick her out, like Team Rocket, or like actually no, Diopside was there to kill Bismuth and Peridot and that Morganite since she had hated them. And then she left because she had done her job. And then Steven and the gems were then devastated about this, that the deaths of other gems. Steven then wants revenge about this. He then gets angry and sad at the same time. And while that was happening, then there was an aftermath scene of telling about the funerals as well. And then Steven then was saying that was heard that the good news is that the diamond, when the homeworld diamonds had heard about their deaths, they would make a new Peridot, a new Lapis, and a new Bismuth just to cheer them up. But that would actually help replace them, so that way they can actually not just to cheer them up, but I'm not angry when I'm not angry when I'm raising my voice, but not just to cheer them up, but just to help them, like just to have strong gems, like just to help them like use like a strong ocean or strong weapons like Bismuth, Peridot, and Lapis, of course. And Peridot would then ask I'm sorry, Peridot's already dead. Obviously, Steven, I meant Steven to Pink Emerald. I was asking Pink Emerald if she would want to join. Like, Steven, like, would you like to join in our team, like, as a new Crystal Gem member? Since you have fought so much, and Pink Emerald will be like, nah, as a mechanic, I don't really fit in to be a Crystal Gem. And Steven will be like, but, Pink Emerald, we gotta go and avenge your friend. Nah, no, Steven. Actually, more like this. No, Steven. You I'm too weak. I'm too weak to take her to try and fight this gem. And I'm too weak to fight this traitor, Gem. You are actually strong enough. I'm too weak. No, actually, after she was saying that she was, um, did I say that? Did I say that? Just in case, I'm gonna just say this just in case if I forgot to say this that no, I'm too weak to take out this traitor, Gem. Or no, I'm too weak to take out this treacherous Gem. You're the one who has to take her out. Or you're the one who's strong enough to fight her. You're you're the one that's gonna avenge my friend for me. Would you do that? And then Stephen like, okay, and then Stephen X said that he would. Then she leaves Earth forever and never came back because she doesn't feel like it, and she would just stay at her planet and do other things while Steven is avenging, and the crystal gems were then nodding and agreeing that Steven would then would try and face this new gem, and Steven would avenge his friends' deaths, of course. Except for Lapis, of course, since she was overdosed to death. So there you have it. That's the end of the movie. It's not even. It's not what I really expect. That it's actually a very. Uh, it's like a mini movie, I would say. But there's actually like so much to talk about that actually I would say this in this video because that way I can have time. That I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. All that stuff, yes, all most of it is based on the other Boleyn girl. Morganite was based on Anne Boleyn. Peridot was sort of based on Henry VIII. Yeah, and even the tutors that when he was telling when Peridot was telling Lapis that the relationship was coming to end, is actually something. It's something like what's in the tutors that in the tutor series that uh the king was saying to Catherine of Aragon. Well, yes, Lapis is of course based on Catherine of Aragon. Was telling her that as far as I'm concerned, our marriage set an end, like something like that. And Lapis would collapse on the floor like Catherine, and of course then Connie like not it was not anything based on other Boleyn girl, but and the gunpowder treason and plots that what was her name? Margaret Douglas, I think, or I don't know. That was her. I doubt that. I don't know if that was her. It was the Darleys, and she was the aunt of Mary Stuart, and she was telling her that, may you die in the same fate as my son, my curse is upon you, and my curse is still upon you, like as I say before, that, like, my son was actually, like, something like, she said something like that, like, that's what it was based on, it was Mary Stuart's aunt, and, because of the deaths of the two sons that Mary had murdered, her two only sons, and yes, and oh yes, and Pink Emerald was based on Mary Boleyn, and oh yeah, and I don't have to actually, I don't think I have to say this, and in the aftermath of the movie that uh the thumbnails you guys are talking about, the one, here's actually some things that I actually forgot to talk about, and I might have not mentioned the things that if I, like, I don't think I had mentioned myself saying in that last video, saying that, if I forget about other things, then I'll bring it to the other video. I don't think I ever said it, but, anyways, about the thumbnails that you guys were saying, like, this is an example of the things I forgot about to tell you that, the thumbnails that you see that I know that we see the characters like Jasper, Blue Diamond, but there some of the characters that you expect are not in it, even White Diamond. But you see, all those characters are actually fits about the characters that I made up that actually fits them well. It actually fits the thumbnails. It has nothing to do with them, but because they're made up characters, like I made up those characters, so of course I wouldn't find them on YouTube. So you see, I'm not mad at you guys. I'm not raising my voice at you guys. But I'm just saying that I'm just saying this out loud to make you guys understand that's what it is, what I'm saying, and also that let's yes, of course I hate Lapis. That's why I killed her off, and I thought that killing off Paragon and Bismuth, because to make it less awkward for Lapis to be the only Crystal Gem member to die. So now that was I hope you guys enjoyed this movie so far. But that doesn't mean that this is the last thing I want to talk about. Um, I kind of want to set this up to 130 minutes to talk more about this. And, see if I can actually talk a little bit more that, I'm gonna make another announcements video on. Well, yes, of course, this is all made on Friday, and this is uploaded on Saturday, but, I would make one on, I think on Sunday I will. I think on Sunday I will make an announcements video over trying to, and see, and because of the second season, I will make a Steven Universe. And yes, and around the beginning of the season, or earlier in the season as well, like, not really beginning, but in a few episodes, that Steven will avenge his friends' deaths for what this new gem Diopside has done. And I'm gonna try and do her voice. I don't know if I already did her voice in the movie, or maybe not, I don't know, but, oh yes, I forgot about the cussing. They would cuss, like, Steven would have cussed out as well, like, yes, of course, he cussed out for the deaths of the Angelites, and cussing out, like, yes, even the other characters would cussed out on Red Kyanite, and the gems and other people would cuss out on Morganite for doing all that stuff, and cussing out on Red Kyanite for killing, and cussing, like, I know I've said that about Red Kyanite already, but I just want to say it, like, exactly, and Steven had also cussed out on, Diopside for the murder, of course, for the murders, of course, that's why, oh no, why am I saying would've? They did cuss, alright? They still cuss even when I did not mention about that stuff in. If by that I mean, if by that I meant, like, they would still cuss even when I did not mention the letters that are the start of words. They still had cussed. They still had cussed in the movie. I didn't say had it, I said had. They still cussed in the movie, even when I didn't mention about that stuff, about them not cussing, like, even, if by that I meant, like, even when I didn't mention about the start of the words. Just want to say that again, just like it's to make you guys understand. Alright, anyway, let's see. Why am I doing this earlier in the episode? When you guys saying that, like, I know you guys are gonna say, like, even when the show is over, you guys are gonna say that, why don't you just put her, like, have her defeated, defeated in the last episode of the first, yes, I'm setting, I don't know why I'm saying that, I meant, like, I don't know if I said this already, but, there's 26 episodes in the second season, but it's not gonna be really season 2, but it's a spin-off. And the other spin-off, it will also be this third season I'm making, not really a third season, would also have 26 episodes, because I'm doing it like Steven Universe and, of course, My Little Pony. Of course, Steven Universe, because of you, of course, seeing the 26 episodes of them each. But, I don't know about Steven Universe future 20 episodes, but I would just rather go with 26 episodes to have more fun and more fun episodes for you guys to listen to the story and and you will I will make remember every other Saturday I will the Saturday next Saturday I will of course upload the other the second season, and then of course the third season after that will be the Saturday after. It will be the Saturday after that. I don't know if I said would or not like that time. But anyway, that is it. So yeah, all I can say is bye.